All right, we
This is gonna be
are
professional.
back and we're already having so much fun. So welcome everyone. Thanks for hopping on. Pavan, introduce our special guest for today.
Dr. Stephen Schwartz, we call him Dr. Vibe. The whole world knows him as Dr. Vibe because he will vibe with you. He vibes with me, he vibes with the angel. The magic vibe, Dr. Stephen Schwartz, he's going to show us exactly what our bodies are made of and how to vibe and how to vibe with each other and how to vibe with the world. But first of all, I gotta see your shorts. Dr. Schwartz, I gotta see your shorts.
It's so funny. I always said if I was going to have a son, I would name him Jim Schwartz, like Jim Shorts, right? I never do. This is a podcast first ever. I've never done a podcast where I've showed anybody from my waist down on a podcast ever.
Well, I'll make a deal with you. I'll make a deal with you, Dr. Vibe.
I'll keep my pants on.
You show me your shorts, I'll show you mine.
Okay. Well, you're in Puerto Rico, correct?
I am in Puerto Rico.
All right. Well, I'm in Tulum, so we're in the Caribbean Ocean. This is what we do here. You know, everything matters. Everything is energy. Everything is intentional. If you wake up in the morning, before I show you the shorts, I would like to just, as we're talking about vibrations, we can have a vibrational mindset. We can have, but really, what are we putting on our bodies? What colors are we wearing? What's the texture? What's the intention? And so many people say, oh, why do you dress like that? Or why do you dress like the way you're looking? It's a direct reflection of who you are. And these are like velour. Let's see, how do we do it? Uh-oh. It's not working.
There we go. We're doing great.
And this is the flower of life, sacred geometry, lots of colors, full spectrum, very psychedelic. So these are my shorts, and let's see what you got, Pavan.
Well, first of all, this is a family-friendly show, so I am so glad you had your shorts on.
Thank you.
And I have my AngelAi.
Oh.
Nothing is beyond reach. Slacks.
Oh, wow. I want some of those.
Yeah,
they're like sweatpants?
Yeah, sweatpants. There's on one leg says nothing's beyond reach, and the other leg, you can see it, says AngelAi. Yeah. So I am cool. I'm always in brand, and because the vibration of this brand is so amazing.
Well, what they always say, what's in a name?
Everything.
Everything. They say your words is your wand. Exactly. So it's important. In fact, I was just on a business call. I have a business coach that I work with. I think all successful people have their own business coaches, right?
Since you mentioned activation, I want to show you how AngelAi gets activated.
Yeah, show me.
There she is.
Oh, wow. Angel officially is getting activated.
That's when Angel was fast asleep.
Was it really I was vibing.
Yeah, she was actually vibing. And that goes right into what this technology is all about. Because when you're vibing, you're actually not asleep. You're in a deep trance. You're in a state called full body neurological entrainment, which is exactly why I created this technology in the first place. It's body hypnosis, and it puts your body, as much as hypnosis is amazing, which I totally support. We're only working with the mind with the hypnosis, with the typical mental hypnosis, but the same principles apply to our nervous system, full nervous system, not just the brain. And so when you can get full body harmonic rhythmic music being played into your connective tissue, you can literally you can change your vibe and change your life. And that's what Angel is having going on there. And the key ingredient also comes back to what we were talking about earlier, is about intentions. Because so many people are living hypnotized. Their lives are hypnotized, but they don't have any intention behind their lives. They're kind of just bouncing around and they're watching the news, they're listening to whatever's going on in their life, but they're not consciously making intentional decisions in their lives. And so they get whatever they get.
You know,
So,
that's a really good point and a great lesson in business as well, because people, I see this with loan officers and realtors and just in general, like people get hypnotized and become almost like they do their jobs and they do whatever they do kind of robotically. And they're going from day to day in a state of trance. And then they wonder why things aren't getting better or they're not growing. Right. And it goes back to defining your why. You have to know your why first, and that then sets your compass in your direction. So how does vibing help you understand yourself better?
This technology was originated with the intention of how do I clear cellular memory? It's an acronym and it stands for, repeat after me, vibrational, individualized, body, enhancement, system. Vibrational individualized body enhancement system. It's an acronym and it's a delivery system. So that's the noun, but then there's an action that comes from being on the vibe, and it's vibing. And I was just about to tell you the story. I'm about to go on 2 very special retreats this December. One is taking me to the Himalayas. I'm going to Nepal for something called Unconventional Life Retreat. It's like a high-level business retreat for stepping into the highest expression of the future you. What I'm offering at this retreat is vibing, and the description of it is that it's a human optimization tool, and it uses sound and vibration arranged in harmonic resonance through very specialized music that I created called sonic pseuticals. And we formulate specific programs that are connecting with your body's connective tissue. And I'm not sure who I'm speaking with, on what level we're talking to, but essentially this is the outward part of our nervous system that surrounds every tissue, system, and cell of the body. And the connective tissue has one physiological effect, does one thing. You have any idea what that might be? Care to take a guess? Angel?
It sings to me.
It vibes.
Kind of. Actually, you guys are kind of right. It works with, interprets the environment through vibrational resonance. So that becomes easy, because I asked myself, I said, wow, so vibrational resonance is going to create change in our nervous system. How do I change the environment? Sound, light, frequency, and vibration. Like we listen to music, we feel it. You know, we listen to sad music, it makes us sad. We can listen to like a major upbeat song, but you could be associated with your dad. Oh, that's my dad's favorite song, and he died. And next thing you know, you're associating that with being sad. Or you could think of a song, that same song, and be like, oh my God, like I went to the prom with that song, and bring back all kinds of amazing memories of a positive chemical cascade. So there's a lot of influence that we know with associating just any music to our nervous system. But when we start layering it with different frequencies, and my specific brand of music is about layering 5 to 7 different levels of what I call therapeutics that have been researched, like different brainwave states, specific mathematics for the connective tissue, sacred geometry, physiological frequencies I've been researching since 2007. These are all aspects that I pull upon. So instead of like maybe taking a pill and putting it in your mouth, we formulate it into music, and then you lay on the vibe system, the vibrational individualized body enhancement system, and we vibrate it into your connective tissue, which directly creates biochemistry. It changes biochemistry. And so now all of a sudden, if you're depressed or you have anxiety and you don't know, and you're next thing you're taking out on your husband, on your wife, or your kids, or your coworkers. Oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. On one end, it's a family-friendly show, so I can't use bad words. But some people, if you're in an argument with your significant other, you might say, "Go F yourself." This, you would go tell your spouse lovingly, "Go vibe yourself." And then they go and you say, "Honey, what vibrational resonance are you wanting to align yourself with?" "I'm just really upset right now." Cool. Energy clearing. Cool. Emotional balancing. "Oh, I'm having a lot of pain, all that chronic pain I'm always dealing with." Cool. Anti-inflammatory. "Oh, I'm just coming off of that surgery." Great. Stem cell activations. You know what? I'm starting a new business, or like you were talking about earlier with loan officers and mortgage facilitators. They don't really have any direction to how they're closing business or anything like that. So what if they could listen to transformation with an intention? I want to close on, I have no idea how many people, what's a good month on closing business on at a mortgage? 100? Is that a lot of houses?
That'd be great. That would be a great month.
Let's go
10?
for 10. Let's go for 10.
10. I want to close 10 mortgages this month. Great. So you can set that intention, and then you put on, we have a track called Transformation, and it's a sonic vision board. And so now, instead of you just using your mind, which is totally fine, we vibrate, has all these frequencies of creating transformation into your connective tissue coupled with your intention. And it literally aligns you into a new dimensional reality. It literally vibrates your body into a new state of being. Tony Robbins is famous for this. You go into a big stadium and the energy is infectious, and he's sharing positive stories, and you guys are breathing together, and you're all cheering, and you got the high energy, and you walk out of there and you're like, wow, I am not the same person that I walked in with. Well, what if you can take that same energy and put it in your living room or put it into your office? That's what we've done with the Vibe. And this was the intention of why I created it. Well, I had an idea of creating this back in 2009. And really when I started formulating music in 2007, and I'm happy to say it actually works better than even I knew. I knew it would work because I understand the science, but it actually produces better results than even it just blows my mind. It's amazing.
I have to agree with you that positive vibrations are infectious. And I don't know if you've ever seen that video of that entire soccer stadium, and it just started singing Bohemian Rhapsody like perfectly, and one side being the chorus, the other side being Freddie Mercury, and it was right, and it just it's completely spontaneous. How does that happen? You got 30,000, 40,000 people in a stadium, and they're all singing on cue and in perfect symmetry.
Exactly.
There is a certain infection that happens with your vibration, with the energy. I don't know what it is. All I know is infectious. That's why it's so important to have teams to be involved with when you're in business and you're in sales or whatever it is that you're doing, you surround yourself with people with the right vibration, right? That with the right energy with that, and then you'll see that the team together does so much more than any one of those people can do individually.
Exactly. My first rule that I've learned over the last 20 plus years of being in business, and trust me, it took me a while to learn this rule, but it's my number one rule. And I am committed as a doctrine to follow it exclusively. And it is that I only do business with and spend time with people that I vibe with.
Okay, so I got to ask, are you vibing with us?
I'm only on this podcast because we're vibing. And I just want to tell the story, even though we have a very strange vibrational attraction together, because I wasn't even supposed to be in Vegas at that conference. And like I said, I got invited to be there with the Faces of the Future, Victoria and Clifton. And then they took me, I was like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we're going to, the cocktail, the meet and greet. And we were only there for a short amount of time, but as we were leaving, you guys were sitting at a little table, remember? And we met. Actually, I'm not sure if I met you. I think I met your.
I wasn't there that night. That was you met
weren't there.
Sam.
That's
You
right.
met Sam that night. Yeah.
Exactly. But but we really, it was a strange thing because we were just leaving. But they almost like pulled me over and then just started talking to me. What do you do? And this and that. And I was like, I'm leaving because those guys already left. And we chatted for a few minutes and they're like, we want your number. And then it so turned out that the next day, you guys were right next to our booth.
Yeah.
And so there's this, and then really from there, the Mindset Summit that we were at, and then you invited me to come to Puerto Rico, which I regretfully was not able to attend. And now we're on this podcast, and I've had nothing but very uplifting, positive biochemistry by being around you and the energy of your team. And I think that is a testament to how many times, and I'm going to pose this question out to your listeners or to your viewers. How many times do you go into that office, or you go into that house, or you go into that situation, and you might be, who knows, maybe you're making all the money, maybe you're doing whatever you're doing, but you get that pit in your stomach? How long do you have that pit over and over and over again, day in and day out, week in, month out, until what happens? Fill in the blank.
Yes.
Fill in the blank. And so then, I mean, if it's a relationship, maybe we'll get divorced. Maybe you won't get divorced. Maybe you get thrown out of your business. Maybe, who knows? But the reality of it is that there will be, the human body and the universe operates off of being in balance. So when the world gets into a tipping point, it's gotta find equilibrium. So when you can work with somebody that you vibe with, it opens up the creativity channels. It opens up the abundance channels. I mean, money is a great topic to talk about. I mean, think about like when people don't trust each other with money, what's the first thing that always happens? The money usually goes down. Or if let's say the opposite, you guys are just making a ton of money, but you guys aren't vibing. Next thing you know, you're in all kinds of arguments about like, oh, you're ripping me off, or you're stealing, or this is that. And something like that happens. It always ends up not ending well. But if you can put yourself into a space of harmonic resonance based off the laws of nature, it's got to continue to flow. And that's all we're really, this is a tool. This is one tool. I actually wrote a book on this whole topic. It's called, you might see a cameo for my shorts. Just give me a second. There you go. You like that, Angel? This is my book. It's called Primal Resonance, Discover the Secrets to Health, Vitality, and Optimal Human Performance. And before this book was a book, this was my clinic in Denver, Colorado. And we were applying the principles in this book, the top 10 ways on how to reverse aging and degeneration using sound, light, frequency, and vibration, to reverse chronic illness and autoimmune diseases and allergies and depression and anxiety and sports injuries and all this stuff. And one of my main Schwartzisms that I would mention all the time was that we're physical manifestations of our own energetic expressions, that we're energy first and physical second. So you want to know how good you're doing, look at your physical world around you. I'm living in opulence. Great. Okay, so your financial house is great. What about your physical health? Oh, but I have cancer, or I have heart disease. I have high cholesterol. I have diabetes. Okay, so this is an indicator of where we need to do some work. Or maybe you have perfect health and you live in a shack. Okay, so now we need to work on the on the abundance activator, you know, all. So this is how we can start navigating, but it's the principles has always been, how do I follow the laws of nature? And that rule has never really steered me wrong. And quite to the opposite of that, when I do find myself off track, it's kind of like a North Star. It's like, well, what's not in alignment in my life right now? And now, well, boom, boom, boom. Look at this elephant in the room. Okay. So whether we're applying this principle to business or to our physical bodies, it's all the same, because this is all a holographic expression of vibrational resonance.
You mentioned briefly that when you were developing this, you knew it was going to work because you understood the science. Can you give the audience a 1,000-foot view of what that science is and why it works?
Thank you, Angel. I'd love to. It's actually really simple. I think there's like a little bit of egoism in terms of medicine. Like we want to show you how smart we are, and you give you all these big words and all these chemistry, and you look at these things like, oh my God, you're brilliant. But the body is actually pretty simple to operate. And what we learn about now is, you know, especially in the biohacking space, there's all this information about hydrogen and about wait, what am I trying to think about? Stem cells, and about mitochondria, and all these things. And you're like, I don't understand it. Kind of goes to your head. I'll leave it to the pros. But really, when you chunk down to the basic fundamentals of biochemistry, because that's really the question I ask myself. And trust me, I failed biochemistry 3 times. I couldn't figure it out until I finally got it. Then it clicked. I'm like, oh my God, wow. All through down the rabbit hole. But if you pull it out above biochemistry, it's very simple. And the nervous system, and I'm just going to define the nervous system real quick. So we think about the brain and the spinal cord. We all know about that, right? But then there's another part of the spinal cord, the nerves that are coming off that go to every tissue, system, and cell of your body. We can all understand that. You know what else is part of the nervous system, which is fascinating, what most people don't even realize? The skin. The skin develops when you're a developing fetus. I think this is really fascinating, by the way, and everybody can understand this. Where you're a developing fetus, embryology is probably the most intricate, mind-blowing study you can learn in medical school. But the reality of it is that the simplistic aspects of it is that there's only 3 pieces of material that form when you're developing as an embryo. One of them, which I'm not going to get the other 2, forms the nervous system in the skin. And it's the first piece that develops. So everything that comes from that material will respond therapeutically exactly the same way. You understanding me, Angel? You with me, Pavan?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now the same principles that work with the nervous system with the brain, like brain entrainment, we all heard of brain entrainment, it works with body entrainment, because the skin and the connective tissue, so the next part of that is something called the living connective tissue matrix. And it's literally like a spider web. And just picture your body, okay? Picture who you are. It's 70% water. But why is it we're not just this blob of water on the ground? We have some kind of shape to us, right? What gives us shape? I mean, obviously we have our bones and our organs, but what surrounds all of that, every single tissue system inside our body, is something called the living connective tissue matrix, and it creates form and structure. It gives your body structure. And I think this is fascinating. And I talk about this in detail, but I wrote this for my patients, by the way. I wrote this for my patients. I didn't write it for doctors to be like, hey, doctors, now there is science in here, of course, because I have to define it. But if you're reading this book and you're like, I don't know what Dr. Schwartz is talking about, just keep reading, because it's written for my patients, so anybody can understand it. But what I wanted to share is, through this living connective tissue matrix, every tissue, system, and cell of the body is surrounded with this. It's what gives it structure. Water does three things: holds memory, is conductive, and it dilutes and detoxifies. So if you're ever toxic, you're probably dehydrated. FYI, flood your body with high vibrational water. We can do a whole podcast on water if you like. The other component is this living connective tissue matrix, which surrounds every tissue, system, and cell of the body, and it's what gives us structure. But what the magic power of that living connective tissue matrix is, it does one thing, and I already alluded to this in the beginning of this podcast. It responds to your environment through vibrational resonance. So now you have structure being filtered into water that's conductive and holds cellular memory. So now, if you're in a household with an abusive father, an abusive mother, that's your environment. Vibrational resonance is being imprinted into your connective tissue and filtered into your water. Your water holds memory, is conductive, dilutes and detoxifies. So that same principle, and now you're growing up with trauma, and you're running off of patterns. You're running off of patterns that have been imprinted when you were a little kid because of your environment through vibrational resonance. It kind of makes sense, right? Yeah. So the cool thing is that you didn't sign up for that. You don't want that, but it happened because it's the beauty. It's what's magnificent about human physiology. It's automatic. So the cool thing is that now you can use intentional technology like the Vibe and put harmonic resonance into your cellular memory, into your living connective tissue matrix, and set an intention. I want to release this trauma. Cool, we have a track for that. It's called Body Clearing Instrumental. And then you just put the headphones on and you let the whole vibrational, and by the way, Angel, my birthday's in April, by the way.
You wouldn't be the first person to call me April. It's all right. I knew who you were talking about. It wasn't Pavan.
Oh, maybe we should call it April AI.
Can do that. That'll be my company. So Angel, I was going to ask you, because we showed the picture of you vibing, but just for the audience, for everybody that's watching this, what were you experiencing? What did it feel like to you? Like, it wasn't just a bed, right?
No. So it vibrates to the music, and there's like different intensities, I would say, of vibrations. So probably different frequencies of vibration.
I told you
it
on the
was
spot.
very relaxing while I was doing it, obviously. But I did feel like as soon as I was abruptly awakened.
I heard of elephants.
I could actually feel the difference. Yeah.
Well, you were actually transported to another universe. You were
another dimension, actually.
I quantum leaped.
You quantum leaped.
Angel, let me ask you a question. That description I gave of the science, do you think that was easy enough for people to understand? Was that the 40-foot view? Was that good enough, or was that too much?
I don't know. I think I have faith in our audience. I think they're picking up what you're putting down. But I'm definitely interested in reading the book so I can dive deeper. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. So one thing, Dr. Schwartz, is that you said something really interesting. You said water has memory. But I take a cup of water and I pour it in a bowl, that becomes the bowl, right? And I pour in a glass, it becomes the glass. So how does water have memory?
So that's a really good question, actually. So this is the whole foundation of homeopathy. And if you guys don't know, are familiar with homeopathy, homeopathy is one of the oldest, interesting, it's kind of the oldest modern medicines that was around since the 1500s. Outside of all the indigenous, herbs and stuff like that, when it got into quote unquote like modern medicines. They called this the medicine of royalty. And this was the gold standard really until allopathic medicine and the Rockefellers took over in the turn of last century. Homeopathy was the standard in medicine, and the principle of homeopathy says that water holds memory. So what happens is if you take a physical substance, and whether you ingest it or you put it in your field or whatever, that becomes and you can then put it in water, and then you kind of cut it in half, so to speak, that you dilute it by half. You've increased the power of the physical substance. And then if you take that substance, you dilute it half, dilute it half, dilute it. You keep this cutting it down and making it less until eventually there's no physical substance. You're left where there's nothing but energy. According to homeopathy, that potency, that invisible energetic signature, is more powerful than if you took the physical substance itself. So for instance, I think this is a very interesting principle that I can prove to you. You have an auto accident. You're shaken up. You got wounds. You're cut, hit your head, whatever. Go to the doctor. You rest up. Wounds heal. All this stuff heals. 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years go by. Next time you're in your car this whole time, and now instead of just driving down the road, a car goes the other direction. It re-triggers the memory of that trauma. Even though the wounds have healed, the physical trauma is wound, but the energetic signature is more powerful than actual insult itself, the memory of it. I don't ever want to have that happen again. You keep going through it over and over again. But that didn't quite answer your question about how does the water actually hold memory. This is very interesting. Water holds memory. Conductive water holds memory with minerals. If you have reverse osmosis water or distilled water that has no minerals, first of all, the pH of it is highly acidic, which is inflammatory. It's pure. Yes, it is pure. You are going to have the purest. There's going to be no toxins in that water. However, there's zero conductivity for your cells. And that's where the minerals come in, because they say that the memory is held because the interplay between the minerals and actually this H2O substance. It's actually a really interesting question, because what is the actual science of why water holds memory? All I know is that it's actually been proven many times over through studies done. Dr. Emoto is kind of one of the leading scientists that did this work around like intentions and putting information into water. Homeopathy has kind of been the principal kind of factor that went off that principle, saying that if you're taking information and diluting it down to where we're left with like what it's called like an energetic signature, that's more powerful than the physical substance itself. And interestingly enough, I've been creating information in water through imprinting technology since 2000 actually. And what I found, and it's kind of hard to really like validate that information is in the water. In fact, I've been kind of studying water and working with water since 2007. I had a kind of a profound eye-opening experience in 2007 when I was introduced to water ionization technology. And I bought a book and I bought a pH tester, and I did exactly what I just said. I bought this book, I filled it up with water, I started drinking, I read the book cover to cover that night. And I tested my water in my office and it was acidic. And what I got out of that was like, wow, why, if I'm trying to reverse autoimmune diseases, which is all inflammatory, why do I want to put an inflammatory substance into my body? And we're 70 to 90% water. So I immediately got rid of that water, and then I started working with this mineralized water, spring water, things like that. So it becomes like a medium. It actually becomes like a medium of minerals that holds information. But I can tell you, Dr. Emoto was the first guy in 2004. If you don't know who Dr. Emoto was, he wrote a book called Messages in the Water. And he did experiments where he would take a speaker and expose music, heavy metal, classical music, all kinds of things to water, and then would freeze the water and then do these little cross sections and see the beautiful little crystals or completely like dissonant pictures. He was the first one to really prove that our bodies are mostly water, and that it can, if you put information into our bodies, you're going to see the structures. But now, that was in 2004, so that he kind of was the one that started that wave, but not really until the last year. I say last year, maybe two. Am I starting to see people doing experiments with water where literally they'll put like information about a picture in water, and then they'll freeze the water, and the frozen water will end up having that same picture that they exposed the water to.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard about that experiment also. There's another interesting study, and I don't remember who did it, but basically people who live, what they call people who drink glacial milk, which is essentially the water off the glaciers, they live a much longer and healthier life because that water is filled with all the minerals that were trapped in the glacier. So there's a lot to be said about drinking mineral-rich, properly minerals, not heavy metal-rich, mineral-rich.
It's the key. It's literally the key. In my practice, when I was in practice, it was all bioenergetic work. We worked with biofeedback systems. We worked with these little energy vials that was just water. And actually, I'd love to share that since we're talking about water. My background, I don't think I did a formal introduction of even who I am on this podcast, but I'm a chiropractor by license. And my background is reversing chronic illness and autoimmune diseases using all vibrational resonance. But my background was in sports medicine. I went to undergrad at Northeastern University to study sports medicine. I went to chiropractic school to work with athletes. I moved to Colorado to work with extreme sport athletes like snowboarders and things like that, or Olympic athletes. But I ended up having my spiritual awakening in 2000 after attending a workshop, a training, where I learned about how to use these little energy vials. And they're like, what's a vial? What's an energy vial? It's literally just a glass tube of water. But inside of that glass tube, they would expose the water to information X. It could be anything. And then that water held the memory of information X, and you could put that into your energy field, literally just have the patient hold it in their hand, or you could hold it on their skin, and we would check for like a strong or weak muscle testing response. And based off that information, we'd be able to reprogram the body like we're reprogramming a computer. And Angel, I hear your mind spinning like, I don't know what you're talking about, or I don't think that, like, so I want to give a little more context to what I just said. You with me?
Yeah.
Your nervous system really only knows how to do two things. It knows how to be on or off. It's like a digital code, a 0 or a 1. And whether it's on or off is based off of one thing, which I've talked about a lot today: vibrational resonance. Information comes in, your body's saying, what does this mean, on or off? You want to know if your body's on or off? How healthy are you? How happy are you? That's pretty much it. If you're spending most of your time with your body off, you're probably not healthy. If you're spending your time with it mostly on, you probably are. The reality of it is that all humans, we kind of walk, up and down at different times, right? But really that concept of your cells being on or off is all you really need to know about information coming in, just like a computer system. So there's something called muscle reflex testing, where you can take information, any information, to the fact where, like, if I was in this room and I was muscle testing Angel right now, I could say, is your name Pavan? And your body would probably go weak, because it depends. It might say, like, no, like, I'm not Pavan. Is your name Angel? Yes, I'm Angel. So that begins a conversation with your body's nervous system. And listen, if your viewers are like, oh yeah, that's BS or whatever, listen, anybody can make their arm go strong. It can be like a parlor trick, okay? I'm not gonna lie. However, if you're using it as a diagnostic tool, and I was reversing chronic illness with this technique since 2000 for 15 years. And to this day, I muscle test every day of my life. So you can do it like a parlor trick, or you can use it as a diagnostic tool and really tap into yourself. And this is where it becomes a really interesting modality of using the vibe system, or really just getting healthy. And I'm not even talking about healthy. I'm talking about financially healthy. I'm talking about, how do you sell more homes? How do you close more business? It applies to everything. How do you have a better relationship with your partner, with your wife, with your husband? Are you in vibrational resonance? And this is an interesting one with spouses. You might be in vibrational resonance with somebody you're totally dissonant with. You guys could both be in alignment with being dissident. This is why we see so many people go through these divorces, is they meet at one time in their life, one person goes here, another person goes there, and they separate. The people that stay together, they stay in vibrational resonance. So these tools, these vibe systems, become access points for people that really want to do the work, either with themselves or together. And but the first chapter in this book is on hydration. That's how vitally important water is. I want to make one more comment about water, if it's okay, Pavan.
Of course.
This was when I was researching about the living connective tissue matrix, I'll plug a book. Dr. James Oschman, Oschman. He wrote a book called The Scientific Basis of Energy Medicine. Super intricate. Talk about a book not written for patients. super, like, you have to read the page like 5 times just to kind of get a grasp of what's going on with this guy. But he said some very amazing information in this book. And one of the things that always kind of blew my mind was he said a stat was, actually, before I give you the stat, when we're born, we're like 90% water. When we're dying of like natural causes, okay, like people, you die of old age, something like that, because nobody just dies of old age. Like, they die of something, but you live to be in your 80s or whatever. You're like, oh, he's died of old age. But what is dying of old age? So just to say, the people that are dying of old age, if you come into this world at like 90% water, take a guess of what number you are when you're quote unquote dying of old age generally. What number?
80.
That's a number. Angel, give me a number.
60.
That's
Very decent.
close.
Are they in the desert?
What's that? What did you say?
I said, are they in the desert? My person is very
Yeah, because in the desert, they'll be more dehydrated, right? Actually, Angel's closer. So the number that I learned was that it's 50%, which is really interesting, because we always talk about we're 70 to 90% water. That's always the standard stat to always hear about. But if you think about the between life and death, we come into this world at 90% and we exit this world at 50%. That's only a difference of 40%. That means that our water system is very sensitive. And what James Osterman talked about in his book was a 10% reduction in water resulted in a reduction in cellular in cellular function by 1 million times. That's really profound, because think about it. Just here, we're having a Zoom call on my computer. This is a brand new computer. My other computer, it starts glitching out. Wi-Fi doesn't work. You got all this like malware on it, right? I'm just getting a new computer. You might have dropped it a few times. Your computer system, between being squeaky clean right out of the Apple store versus I'm ready to get a new computer. What if your computer was reduced in function by 4 million times? How do you think that's going to work?
Very slowly.
Very slowly, exactly. Very slowly. Exactly. And now think about our bodies. If our bodies are computers, what if our bodies are not working by 4 million times?
See, that's what I feel every day. You know,
Oh, really? Well, you got to get a vibe.
yeah,
What
no,
are we getting vibe down
I
there?
supplement it with coffee.
Say again? Oh, you started to have coffee?
No, I just supplement it with coffee. When it starts going down 1 million times, I just have a couple of cups of coffee and off we go.
And that you and the rest of the world. And you have a beautiful smile and you look really vibrant. But we're studying.
Wait a minute. Were you talking to me or Angel?
Both, but I was actually talking to you, Pavan.
Okay.
But yeah, so do you, Aim. But that goes without saying. Actually, that's a new thing of mine. I just read that if you have a compliment to give somebody, that you should give it immediately.
That's a
a
good point.
Good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys both have very beautiful smiles, and very beautiful people, and I feel very blessed to be on this podcast with you. You know, I wasn't exactly sure what we were going to be talking about. I'm not an expert in mortgages, but I would like to say that I have created an AI system for myself. And the vibe is AI Schwartz. And I'm Dr. Steven Schwartz. And I'm actually pretty proud of myself, because as a doctor, you're either like seeing patients for the rest of your life, or you get associates and then, you know, you pay them and you're out playing golf. It's another way of doing it. I started saying, you know, how do I replicate myself? Because really, I'm a formulator. Like, I know how to formulate for human physiology. It's my gift. And so I started training associates. Then we started developing biofeedback systems. And then I started selling them and training doctors. So now my information was going out to doctors, and that was rippling. Then we started making the vibe and putting all the programs into the vibe. Now we're going right to the end users. And so that's even causing a bigger ripple out. And we're in over 20 countries around the world. Way bigger than I could ever handle if I was just going to be seeing people one-on-one. And people call me and say, hey, Dr. Schwartz, I had this issue and now I don't. Or I was feeling this and now I don't. And they're doing it on their timeline, with their intentions, with my programs. So it's like AI technology.
It's AI that has hacked the human body, but in a good way, to make you better.
Exactly.
To solve problems. So in a nutshell, how many patients have you helped with the Vibe system?
So far, okay, two different things. Globally to date, we have over 400 vibes in the world, and we're in over 20 countries. In fact, we just added 2 new countries yesterday, Malaysia and Greece. So very excited about that. But the reality of it is that these become activation portals. So as much as we have 400 of these vibes, a lot of the people that are buying these things are not just using them for themselves, they're using them for their families, and they're using them in their communities, and they're using them in their centers. So we're seeing this ripple effect exponentially. So like, for instance, like in Germany, we have 10 vibes in Germany, and that's a small country. So we're really vibing it up in Germany. I think about, and not to get political, because I'm not really I'm actually very apolitical, but people always ask me my opinion about the war, and I just tell them, my protest is to raise the vibration of the planet and to harmonize humanity, because I know that when somebody's acting out in violence, they're only acting out cellular memory, which we've been talking about all day here. So if we can clear that cellular memory, we can heal. And that's what's going to bring diplomacy to the world. And that's really my mission. That's been my mission with bioharmonic technologies, is how do we create activation portals? And with another word, what's a portal? It's a doorway or a gateway. How do we create an activation doorway or a gateway for humanity to raise its vibration and to step into a higher expression of itself?
So do you think world peace, where actually we're all kumbaya and no one's killing each other, do you think it's achievable?
I think it's okay. Based off of quantum physics, they say that there's infinite dimensional realities. That means that there is a dimensional reality that exists right now, that we have complete world peace and utopia. And guess what Albert Einstein said in order to get to that place? There's one ingredient, and I've spoken about it this entire podcast. It's 2 words. Angel, vibrational resonance.
I was literally going to say that. I would not just say I was going to say that.
I wish you said it.
The words were almost coming out of my mouth.
You're a great co-host, by the way.
I believe that Angel would have said that, because unlike me, I was a terrible student. I barely passed high school. Angel pays attention.
Perfect.
She was a straight A student. I was a terrible student. So yes, she would have had the answer.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm excited for this, for what we're talking. So to answer your question, when the 100th monkey, when we hit that 40,000 higher vibrational resonance of people, create this ripple effect throughout the planet, and we all achieve vibrational resonance of this new dimensional reality, then we will live on peace on earth.
So in other words,
how long is it going to take to get there? I don't know.
In other words, all we need to happen to get peace on earth is for the vibe to go viral.
Yes.
Okay. And
those
for the vibe,
people want to get their own vibe and vibe on their own with you. Where would they get it?
Okay, so go to Bioharmonic Technologies, right here, my logo, bioharmonictechnologies.com. And that is our official online store. Got information on there. If you want more information, you go to our video resources section, all kinds of cool videos. But if you're ready to buy a vibe today, and actually we're running this special right now during the holidays, because it's, you know what our holiday special is called? Harmonize the Holidays. And
which
we're
I'm
doing
sure many people out there could use.
Exactly. Let's harmonize the holidays. And there's a very special code.
I thought you were going to say vibe all the way.
What's that?
I thought you were going to say vibe all the way.
Vibe all the way. Oh, it's close. The code is Let's LETS VIBE 500. Let's Vibe 500.
Let's vibe 500.
Let's Vibe 500. That is our special discount code that you'll see on our website. If you say, I want the code, we should have worked it out. We could have given you your special code. The AngelAi code. You know what? Let's make your AngelAi code. We're going to have a special AI code, AngelAi code made by the time this podcast airs. Go ahead and put in AngelAi and get a special discount.
All right.
Okay.
What is it? TBD. You
Well,
have to put in the discount code to find out.
yeah, put in the discount code to see what that's going to be. But yeah, you can go there. You can follow us on Instagram. We're very active on Instagram. Harmonic Technologies. Just search that. Myself, Dr. Vibe, DRVIVE, Dr. Vibe on Instagram. So please follow me there. And I'm about to embark on a very sacred, special journey to the other side of planet Earth for the month of December. I'm going to the Himalayas, to Nepal, and down to Bali and to Thailand. And I'm going to be broadcasting live. So if people follow me throughout on this adventure, we're going to be able to see all the adventures that I'm on. And I'm going to be going to sacred sites and getting downloads and sharing that with the world. And I'm traveling with the vibe. I'm traveling with the vibe for the first time ever to these parts of the world, and actually have a very big meeting with one of the leading stem cell experts in the world and in Bangkok. So we're going to be featuring them at 2 retreats. The one I am Creation, which is in Bali, and then there's another one in Nepal, the 7th through the 12th, called the Unconventional Life Retreat. And so these are the things that I'm up to as I'm going to go and harmonize my holidays, because at the end of the day, I'm the physical representation of the vibe. And these are the activation portals. And I would love to have you guys really come be part of this community and, change your vibe, change your life.
I like it. Now, while I was multitasking, right, not that I wasn't paying attention, but that's one of the excuses why I didn't have the answer to the question, and Angel did.
That's why he's got me.
But
that's okay. I didn't ask a question.
Yeah, but I asked AngelAi 2 questions. Right, I said, number 1, when will the vibe go viral? Right, or actually, it was actually, will the vibe go viral? That's question number 1. Question number 2 was, will we ever have world peace? And she gave one answer to both of those questions. Angel Human, can you guess what it is? Uh-oh.
Yes.
She said nothing is beyond reach.
Oh, I should have known that one.
Oh, silly Angel.
And that's your whole,
I should have known that one.
So with AngelAi, I know that it's focused mostly on the real estate industry, but I think when you're talking that you're looking to expand, because AI is AI, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but your background, you're one of the original pioneers of AI technology. Is that correct?
I don't know. I want to say a pioneer of AI technology, but very early. Well, I'll put it this way: a pioneer of AI technology in real estate and finance. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, but pioneer of AI technology, no, I couldn't take that credit. I'm as much a pioneer of AI technology as Al Gore is the father of the internet. So.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird. I never really understood that. But so what are the capabilities outside of mortgages and like real estate related aspects? Can you type in, will the vibe go viral? And will there be world peace? Like, can you get accurate information from your AI, or is it more focused in the real estate queries?
Well, the AI is not a fortune teller. It's not a future reader. So that was, I didn't really ask that question and didn't really give that answer. I was just having some fun. Okay. And so what are its capabilities is that right now it's a very good personal assistant for real estate agents and loan officers. Does more than half of their day is saved, right? So they can spend more time vibing and less time doing work that a machine can do. And so right now our engineering team is super busy in polishing it off so that so many of those things that it does for real estate agents and loan officers, it can do for everybody. Like, for example, you're going to Nepal and you have to coordinate with all these people and these meetings, and you're going to have to have an event. You're probably sending them emails, all this kinds of stuff, right? You'll be able to just tell AngelAi, hey, I'm going to Nepal on this date. These people I'm meeting. Can you just like coordinate everything with them?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can I need that. I'm in this. Can we tailor it for yeah, I need that.
Yeah. That's what we're pushing hard to roll out. So we're not going to release it until it's ready, but what we will do is we will put Dr. Vibe as on the early list.
Thank you.
So when it's in beta and it's an early product, you'll be able to use it and give us feedback and be one of the first testers for it.
I appreciate that. We will use it. And we can, the other thing that I'd love to plug is I have an app. I'm not sure if you can see it down here, but Vibraphile, Vibrophile, Vibraphile. It's the world's first immersive music app, and we're making immersive. The Vibe itself is a delivery system for delivering vibrations, but what really drives it is the content that we've created, and that's housed in our special app called Vibraphile. And right now it hosts the Dr. Vibe music, but we're going to be opening it up to more content creators. We also have a live chat feature on there, so we could do groups and chats, and then also a live stream feature as well. So these are some things that people can sign up if they don't have the Vibe but would love to sign up for a subscription. They can do that, or it comes free with the Vibe system. And also, since you were kind of talking about how would they get a Vibe, people are like, what's a Vibe? Like, we have two models. We have a pro model, and it's ergonomic, picture kind of like a bendy, kind of really super comfortable bed, like a twin size bed, about the same length of a massage table. You lay on that, super cushy, you lay on, you're like, oh my God, this is the most comfortable thing ever. Put on headphones, but then the music activates it and the whole thing vibrates to specialized vibrational music that I created, that my company, Bioharmonic Technologies, has curated specifically. Then we have another model called the 3.2, and it's a flat, it looks like the top of a massage table, except it comes with a metal frame. They both come with travel bags. It's more of like a mobile model, something like that. Or you can do body work. I'm a chiropractor. I like doing chiropractic vibrational adjustments on it. You can put on the floor. Those are our two models. And so you could choose from any of them. We have light systems that work with red and infrared lights and frequencies. So go to our website and take a look, and we're here to vibe with you guys.
What's the website one more time?
Bioharmonictechnologies.com, just like my logo. BIOHARMONIC technologies, IES.com.
So if you want to pump up your business, you got to get in the zone. You got to get your mindset right. You got to get your body right. You need to think about what Dr. Vibe just talked about. You need to get your body frequency correct, so that your mind is correct. Okay, and if you doubt that has an effect, next time you're feeling bad, listen to a good song. Okay, whatever it is, whether it's rock and roll or Mozart, whatever it is that gets you pepped up, and you will change immediately on the spot as you listen to that music. Okay, so definitely check it out and learn how to vibe. It's easy. So bioharmonictechnologies.com. Get in the vibe, get in the groove, like Madonna said. Get in the groove, get in the vibe, and start thinking and opening your mind and thinking about new ways of approaching your challenges for today. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining. If you love Angel, if you love AngelAi, and if you love me please smash the like and subscribe button. The amount of education you got today is phenomenal, and you want to keep this rolling. So get engaged, get involved, get in the vibe, get in the groove, and let's go. Thank you, everybody. All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining. Safe travels.